A 17-year-old walks into my courtroom laughing at his speeding ticket. 12 months later, he's standing in front of me, crying. What happened in between changed everything. Look, I've been a judge for over 3 decades. I've seen thousands of kids stand where you're standing right now. Most of them. They pay their fine, walk out that door, and I never hear from them again. That's just how it works. But every once in a while, someone comes back. Not because they have to. Not because the law says so. They come back because something shifted. Something broke open inside them. And when that happens, when a kid returns to tell you their story, man, that's when you remember why you put on this robe every single morning. This is one of those stories. December 13th, 2024. Friday morning, Providence Municipal Court. I'm sitting at the bench between hearings, reviewing case files, drinking cold coffee. Standard day. Then I see this young man walking toward me. Clean cut, university sweatshirt, respectful posture. He's waiting for me to notice him. I look up. Can I help you, son? He takes a breath. Your Honor, you probably don't remember me, but exactly 1 year ago I stood in this courtroom. Speeding ticket, 58 and a 30. My dad's BMW. I'm searching my memory. Nothing's clicking yet. He continues. You told me to come back in a year. You said you wanted to see who I'd become. And then it hits me like a freight train. The AirPods, the eye roll, the smirk. The kid who told me he had lacrosse practice and, could we please hurry this up? I lean forward. Wait, you're the kid who told me my courtroom was wasting your time. He nods. Yes, sir. That was me. Pause. I'm not that person anymore. Let me take you back. December 2023. 1 year earlier. Tyler Morrison walks into my courtroom 15 minutes late. Designer clothes, phone in his hand, AirPods in one ear. He doesn't even look up when his name is called. The charge? Simple. Officer Maria Santos clocked him, doing 58 miles per hour in a 30 zone. Residential neighborhood. Elementary school nearby. Here's the part that got me. There were kids on that sidewalk. School had just let out. Children walking home. And this 17-year-old is flying past them at nearly double the speed limit in an $84,000 BMW. When I ask him if he understands the charges, you know what he does? He shrugs. Actually shrugs. It's just a speeding ticket, Your Honor. My dad will pay it. Can we move this along? I have practice. Practice. He could have killed a child that day, and he's worried about lacrosse practice. I have seen this attitude before. Privilege without perspective. Money without wisdom. But here's what 32 years has taught me. You don't give up on these kids. You plant seeds even when the soil looks dead. So I put down my pen. I look at this kid. Really look at him. Mr. Morrison, put your phone away. Look at me. He does. But with this expression like, I'm inconveniencing him. And I start talking. Do you know what happens when a car going 58 miles per hour hits a 7-year-old child? Silence. Let me tell you. The child doesn't survive. There's no oops. There's no my dad will pay for it. There's a funeral. A family destroyed. A hole in the world that never gets filled. I can see him starting to tune out. You were driving past an elementary school. Kids were on that sidewalk. And you were going nearly double the limit. Why? Because you wanted to feel fast? Because you thought the rules didn't apply to you? He rolls his eyes, right there in the middle of my speech. Part of me thinks, I've lost this one. But I keep going anyway. You're 17 years old. In a few months, you'll be an adult making your own choices. And I want to know, what kind of man are you going to be? The kind who thinks money solves everything? Or the kind who understands that every choice has weight? He's not answering, just standing there with that smirk. So I give him his sentence. $350 fine. 4 points on his license. Standard stuff. But then I do something I don't always do. Mr. Morrison, I want you to come back to my courtroom in 1 year. Not because you have to. Your case will be closed. But I'm asking you to come back because I want to see who you've become." He laughs out loud. Actually, I laugh. "Yeah, okay, sure. See you in a year, Your Honor." And he walks out, still looking at his phone. His father paid the fine that same afternoon, and I thought, well, that's that. Tyler Morrison will go back to his private school and his BMW and never think about this courtroom again. I was wrong. So now we're back to that Friday morning, December 2024. Tyler's standing in front of me, and I ask him, "What happened? What changed?" He takes a breath. His voice cracks a little. "Your Honor, everything happened." Then he tells me about Jacob Peterson, Tyler's best friend since 7th grade. The kid who had the laugh that filled every room. Dating a girl named Emma. Wanted to study sports medicine. Tom and Diane's only child. 2 months after our hearing, February 17th, 2024, Jake was driving on Route 114. Nighttime, wet roads. There's this tricky curve. Jake was going about 65 in a 40 zone. Tyler was in the passenger seat. Jake lost control. The Jeep rolled twice, hit a tree on the driver's side. Jake died on impact. Tyler walked away with a broken collarbone, a concussion, and cuts all over his face and arms. He spent 2 days in the hospital. Then he went home. But here's what he told me next, and this is the part that broke me. "Your Honor, I remember the sound, the crunch of metal, the way everything went silent after. I looked over at Jake and his eyes were open. But he wasn't there anymore. He just wasn't there." Pause. "And the first thing I thought, the very first thing, was what you said to me in this courtroom, about what happens when a car hits something at that speed. And I thought, this is what you were trying to tell me. This is what I didn't listen to." Tyler looks at me, and his whole body is shaking. "Your Honor, I need you to understand something. I blamed myself. Not for the crash, I wasn't driving. But for everything else." He pauses. "When did you give me that ticket and that speech? I went back to school and I bragged about it. I told Jake and all our friends like it was funny. Like getting caught going 58 in a 30 was cool. I can see where this is going. I made speeding seem like nothing. Like it was just something we did. Rich kids in fast cars. And Jake looked up to me. He paid attention to what I did. When he saw me roll my eyes at a judge, when he saw me blow off the consequences, he thought, if Tyler doesn't care, why should I?" His voice breaks. Jake died doing exactly what I taught him was okay. I made speeding seem cool, and then my best friend died doing it. That's the weight he's been carrying. Not the crash itself, but the attitude, the example he set. Tyler tells me he spiraled after the accident, dropped out of lacrosse, stopped hanging out with friends, just went to school, came home, sat in his room. His parents were terrified. They tried everything, therapy, talking, anything, but he just shut down. "I couldn't forgive myself for surviving," he says. Jake was the good one. Everyone loved him, and I was the one who taught him to drive recklessly. It should have been me. But then something happened. Tyler started going to Jake's parents' house, Tom and Diane Peterson. He showed up one Saturday in March, about a month after the funeral, to apologize. He couldn't even get the words out before Tom Peterson hugged him. "Jake loved you," Tom said. "We don't blame you. You weren't driving. This wasn't your fault." Tyler broke down right there on their doorstep. Cried for an hour while Diane held him. After that, Tyler kept going back. Not just to apologize anymore, but to help. To be present. He mowed their lawn, cleaned their gutters, fixed things around the house. Tom and Diane needed to see Jake's best friend. They needed that connection. And Tyler needed to do something, anything, to feel like he was honoring Jake's memory. Then in May, Tyler did something incredible. He went to his school administration and asked if he could start a driving safety program. He called it Drive for Jake. The school said yes. In September, Tyler stood up in front of 200 freshmen and told them what happened to his best friend. He showed them photos of Jake's crashed Jeep, the twisted metal, the shattered glass, the tree. He told them about the sound of the crash, about Jake's open eyes, about the silence that followed. He told them about the funeral, about Emma sobbing so hard she couldn't stand, about Tom's eulogy, and he told them about me, about standing in this courtroom a year earlier, rolling his eyes while a judge tried to tell him that speed kills. "I thought I knew everything," Tyler said to those freshmen. "I thought rules were for other people. I thought nothing bad would happen to me or my friends because we were invincible." Pause. "I was wrong, and my best friend is dead because of that attitude." 3 students cried during his presentation. One freshman came up afterward and said, "I'm never speeding again. Never." Tyler became the thing he used to mock, the kid who lectures other kids about driving safely. But here's the difference. When he speaks, they listen. Because he's not reading from a script. He's telling them about his best friend who isn't here anymore. The program expanded. 2 schools invited him, then 3 more, then 5. By November, Tyler had talked to over 600 students. But it wasn't just the speaking. Tyler changed everything about his life. In June, he got a job at Stop and Shop, 20 hours a week, stocking shelves, bagging groceries, cleaning up spills. His father offered to get him an internship at his investment firm. Tyler said no. He wanted to earn his own money. He saved every paycheck. In November, he bought his own car, a 2016 Honda Civic, used, 80,000 miles. Cost him $12,000. First thing he'd ever truly owned. First thing he paid for himself. His father offered to buy him a new BMW for graduation. Tyler said no. "I don't want to drive a car that costs more than most people make in a year. I want to drive something I earned." Tyler looks at me across the courtroom. "Your Honor, I'm at URI now, University of Rhode Island, criminal justice major. I want to be a probation officer or a youth counselor. I want to work with kids who are where I was." He pauses. "Kids who think they know everything. Kids who think rules don't apply to them. I want to be for other kids what you tried to be for me. Someone who sees their potential even when they can't see it themselves." And then he says the thing that gets me. "I came back because you were the first person who told me I was wasting my potential. My parents gave me everything. Money, cars, education, opportunities. But they never really challenged me. My teachers passed me because my dad donated to the school. My coaches played me because I was good, not because I was coachable." He's crying now. "Everyone just let me be who I was. The arrogant rich kid. Nobody challenged me except you. You stopped your whole courtroom to tell me I could be better. You told me I had potential, but I was wasting it. You told me that money doesn't make consequences disappear." And I rolled my eyes, I laughed. "I walked out thinking you were just some old judge who didn't get it." Pause. "But I heard you. I didn't listen, but I heard." Those words stayed somewhere in the back of my mind. And when Jake died, when I was sitting in that hospital thinking about my best friend who wasn't coming back, your words came flooding back. I came back to say thank you for not giving up on me, for planting something that eventually grew, for seeing something in me that I couldn't see in myself. I need a moment before I can respond. This doesn't happen often. Kids don't come back to thank judges. They just don't. I look at Tyler and I say, "Tyler, I appreciate you coming back. I really do. But I need you to understand something. I didn't change you. You changed you." I gave a speech that day, the same speech I give to every kid who sits where you sat. Most of them forget it before they reach the parking lot. Some roll their eyes just like you did. Some laugh. Some say yes, sir, and walk out and keep doing exactly what they were doing. But you didn't forget. When life hit you with something terrible, with the worst thing that could happen, you had those words somewhere inside you, buried deep, but there, and you used them. You took the worst moment of your life and turned it into purpose. That's not me, Tyler. That's you. That's your strength. That's your character. I lean forward. Jake's death isn't your fault. You need to hear that. You weren't driving that night. You didn't make him go 65 in a 40. He made his own choice. What you are responsible for is what you're doing now. The program, the talks, the life you're building, that's his legacy and yours. You're taking his name and his memory and using it to save lives. You're standing in front of hundreds of kids telling them the truth. And they're listening. They're hearing you the way you eventually heard me. Pause. You turned your worst moment into your purpose. That's transformation. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of who you've become. Tyler's crying. And honestly, I'm not far behind. We shake hands. Then I don't know what comes over me, but I come down from the bench and I hug him. You're doing good work, I tell him. Keep going. I've been doing this for 32 years. And if I'm honest, most days I don't know if anything I say makes a difference. Kids roll their eyes. They pay their fines. They walk out and forget. I give the speeches anyway because I have to believe that somewhere, somehow, someone is listening. But then someone like Tyler comes back, 1 out of 100, maybe 1 out of 1,000, and he says, "You planted something. It took a while to grow, but it grew. And now I'm different." That's why I keep doing this. Not because I change everyone. I don't, I can't. But because you never know which seed is going to take root. You never know which kid is going to hear you, even when they're pretending not to listen. Even when they're rolling their eyes and looking at their phone and asking if they can leave because they have practice. To every parent watching this, don't give up on your kids, even when they roll their eyes, even when they slam doors, even when they tell you that you don't understand. They hear you. They might not admit it. They might not show it, but they hear you. Tyler heard me. He didn't listen, but he heard. And a year later, when life taught him what I couldn't teach him, those words were there waiting. Keep talking. Keep planting seeds. You never know which one is going to grow. And to every young person watching this, it's not too late. Whatever you've done, whoever you've been, however you've acted, it's not too late to be someone different. Tyler Morrison was the most arrogant kid I'd seen in years. He rolled his eyes at a judge. He bragged about his speeding ticket. He thought money made him invincible. And now he's saving lives. One talk at a time. One freshman at a time. One school at a time. If he can change, anyone can change. The question is, will you? Tyler comes back every year now. Not to thank me again. Once was enough for that. He comes back to speak during Teen Driving Safety Week. I invite him to address kids in my courtroom who were there for traffic violations. He stands right where he stood 2 years ago when he rolled his eyes at me. And he tells them about Jake. He shows them the pictures, tells them about the sound of metal and the silence that followed. And I watch their faces change. I watch the smirks disappear. Tyler's still at URI, freshman year, criminal justice major, carrying a 3.4 GPA while working 20 hours a week at Stop and Shop and running Drive for Jake at 5 different high schools. He drives his Honda Civic, the one he paid for himself. His father still offers to buy him a BMW every few months. Tyler still says no. "I don't need my father's car anymore," he told me. "I don't need his money. I'm building my own life." Jake's parents, Tom and Diane, come to his talks sometimes. They sit in the back of the auditorium and listen to Tyler tell their son's story. And afterward they hug him. Every single time Tom says the same thing. "Jake would be proud of you. We're proud of you." Last month, Tyler told me something over coffee. "Your Honor, I think about Jake every day, every single day. But I don't just think about how he died anymore. I think about how he would have lived, what he would have done, who he would have become. And I try to live that way for both of us. I try to be the friend he deserved, the man he believed I could be. I try to make my life count for two. That's not a tragedy. That's transformation. And that's the most beautiful thing I ever get to see in this courtroom. People ask me sometimes why I keep doing this job. I'm 32 years in. I could retire, spend time with my grandchildren, play some golf. Why do I keep coming back here, dealing with traffic violations and kids who roll their eyes at me? This is why. This moment right here. Tyler Morrison coming back to show me who he became. To let me know that somewhere, somehow, something I said mattered. I don't get a lot of these moments. Most kids don't come back. And that's okay. I plant the seeds anyway. I give the speeches anyway. Because maybe one of them will hear it. Maybe one of them will become Tyler Morrison. And if one kid out of 1,000 changes their life because of something I said, then it's all worth it. Every eye roll, every smirk, every kid who tells me their dad will pay for it. It's all worth it for the one who comes back and says, "You changed my life." But here's what I need everyone to understand. I didn't change Tyler's life. Tyler changed Tyler's life. I just gave him something to think about. I planted a seed. But he did the hard work. He lived through tragedy. He carried guilt that wasn't his to carry. He found a way to turn his worst moment into his greatest purpose. That's courage. That's strength. That's character. And I can't teach that. I can only recognize it when I see it. Tyler Morrison is 18 years old. He lost his best friend. He carries that weight every day. But he's not letting that weight crush him. He's using it. He's turning it into fuel. He's making sure that Jake Peterson's life meant something. That his death wasn't just a tragedy, but a catalyst for change. He's saving lives. Not by pulling people from burning buildings or performing surgery, but by standing in front of teenagers and telling them the truth. By showing them what happens when you think you're invincible. By making them understand that every choice matters. Every mile per hour matters. Every decision behind the wheel matters. That's heroism. Quiet, unglamorous heroism. And it started with a kid who rolled his eyes at a judge and walked out laughing. 1 year can change everything. One tragedy, one choice. One decision to be better instead of bitter. This is what's possible when we don't give up on each other. When we plant seeds even in bad soil. When we believe in potential even when we can't see it yet. Tyler Morrison came back to thank me. But I'm the one who should be thanking him. For reminding me why I do this. For showing me that the seeds I plant actually grow sometimes. For proving that young people aren't lost. They're just finding their way. And sometimes they need someone to believe in them before they believe in themselves. If you're watching this and you work with young people, parent, teacher, coach, anyone, don't give up. Keep planting seeds. Keep believing in them. Keep telling them they can be better, even when they roll their eyes. Even when they don't seem to hear you. They hear you. Somewhere deep down, they hear you. And if you're young and you think you've messed up too badly to change, you haven't. Tyler thought the same thing. He thought Jake's death was the end of his story, but it was the beginning of his real life, the life he chose instead of the life he fell into. You can change. You can be different. You can turn your worst moment into your purpose. It's not too late. It's never too late. Comment, "Ready," if this message hit you today. And if this story meant something to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Tyler Morrison is proof that transformation is possible. And every year when he comes back to tell his story, he proves it again. That's what justice looks like to me. That's what hope looks like. This is a dramatization for storytelling and educational purposes. It is not legal advice, not based on a real case, and is not intended as factual reporting.